Hot Vibes family. Today I wanted to make a video about the imagination, and this is something that's really important on the path, is being aware of your imagination and understanding that the imagination is very sacred, and that these agents in the MPA, they'll pretty much use your imagination against you. And you got to realize that your imagination is really, really powerful, and if you start really tuning into it, you're gonna be able to navigate this matrix so much smoothly, and you're gonna be able to see so much more and access more information, and connect more on the grids when you connect with your imagination. And I know in my last video, the sound got messed up, and pretty much what I was talking about after that was that how when your energy gets high, these agents, they'll pretty much get afraid when your energy gets turned up. And I was talking about how agents will attack you when your energy is high, and then next thing you know, they want to blank out that part in the video. So that's pretty much why I guess that video got blanked out. But anyways, what I was going to get into was the imagination. And basically, the imagination can be used against you if you are not aware. This is because a lot of subconscious things happen throughout the man-made matrix, and throughout the matrix itself. There's a lot of subconscious things that happen, and it pretty much triggers our imagination to be used for the wrong purposes. For example, we could pretty much, somebody can give you an advertisement and make you imagine it to the point where you actually set your intentions enough for it to manifest. And a lot of this is happening on the grids. Now, most of the time, it's not really that you're manifesting anything. You're pretty much just tapping into the frequency before it comes. But most of the time, you're pretty much imagining it to the point where it actually happens. And what they'll do is they'll pretty much, like, these people will come up to you and they'll make you have all these expectations, and this deals with like the fear. What they'll do is they'll create subconscious fear. And if you ever been in a situation where you pretty much were like daydreaming, and like someone has told you something, like for example, let's say someone told you this and this was gonna happen, like U.S. is going to go to war with Europe or something like that. Donald Trump is going to send nuclear bombs, and next thing you know, you're pretty much like daydreaming, and as you're daydreaming, you're pretty much thinking about all these people dying and a whole bunch of negativity. But what they're doing is they're using your imagination to bring you into a fearful state. And these people know that the imagination is really precious. It's a really sacred thing. When you get into it, when you really tune into it, you'll realize that your imagination is really powerful too. And what they'll do is they know how to get into your mind to allow, pretty much use your dark light against you. And once you start becoming aware, you'll start seeing that certain people, they'll start speaking to you, and the next thing you know, you get into a trance, and you're pretty much just like daydreaming of something that doesn't even exist. Like, you're thinking of all this negative stuff about to happen, like, oh my God, I'm gonna die, what's gonna happen to my family, this and this and that. But pretty much what they're doing is they're using your imagination to get you into that lower frequency. They're pretty much using your dark light against you. But you got to start realizing that this matrix is two sides, dealing with the physical and the non-physical. And I pretty much said a lot of codes in my last video, but it got blanked out. And I'll probably repost it to see if that fixes it. But pretty much we need to start really observing how these agents will use certain triggers. And I'm not even talking about pretty much like trigger words. I'm pretty much talking about certain subconscious fears. Like, what they'll do is, I talked about the information agents before, and what they'll do is they'll pretty much study you on the subnet, and they'll see what you're into, and then they'll pretty much use the stuff that you're into and reel you into the conversation. Because if you're not into what they're speaking about, you're pretty much not even going to listen to what they're saying. At least some people who aren't aware, you're pretty much not going to tune in. But if they're actually talking about something that you like, you'll pretty much get start listening to what they have to say. If you start talking about, if they start talking about what you like, and I hope that makes sense. But yeah, anyways, once they do that, they'll reel you in, and then next thing you know, they're talking about something that doesn't even exist. And what they'll do is they'll pretty much try to bring you either to the past or into the future, and they'll use the illusion. They pretty much want you to use your imagination to create an illusion, and they'll shift you into the past or future, and they'll pretty much drift you away from the present moment. This is what the agents will like to do. Yeah. But I've been noticing a lot how, like, even in the dream realm, like, agents could come up to you, and they'll actually try to get you into a simulation within a simulation. So pretty much where you're dreaming inside of a dream. And like, I've been noticing this a lot, where like people will pretty much get into a trance, and it even happens with music too. Like, if you think about like certain things that trigger your imagination, they pretty much use it against you. Like even music, when you're vibing with music, you're feeling creative, you're pretty much getting tuned into a trance though. At the same time, if you're not aware, and then all is dealing with the subconscious mind as well. Like pretty much they're getting all these programs into your subconscious mind, and you're not even aware of what it's doing to your imagination, because your imagination is creating these mental projections that don't even exist, that are not even necessary. And that's another thing too. Like, we got to start focusing on things that actually matter. What will happen is, when you start really turning up, these agents will pretty much send information to you through the subnet, and these like random thoughts. Like, you'll pretty much pick up on random thoughts that don't even matter, and what they'll do is they'll try to put you through their maze. And I was saying this in the last video, but it got blanked out. But pretty much what they'll do is they'll put you in they'll put a maze on you. And what they'll pretty much send you like a thought, and you're pretty much thinking about this thing that doesn't even matter. Like, for example, you might be thinking about a car or something. They might send you like a car, and then next thing you know, they put two and two together, and now you're thinking of a girl inside of a car, and now you're thinking about you inside that car with the girl in the car, and now you're thinking about doing things with the girl in the car, and then pretty much it's like a maze, and they're creating this like reality within your mind. They're pretty much creating this, they're using your imagination to create this reality inside your mind, and putting you inside of a box pretty much. So I really hope that makes sense, guys out there. I'm pretty much just vibing right here out in nature. I'm turning up and flowing with spirit, and pretty much spirit has just been telling me, like, they'll really put you in the box if you're not aware, and they'll pretty much use one of your greatest tools, which is your imagination. Your imagination is a really, powerful tool. It's a really sacred tool, and our ancestors have used it for plenty of years. The Egyptians, the Native Americans, they all used the imagination because they knew it was something that was really valuable, especially in this matrix. Once you really start tapping into your dark light, you'll realize that there's so many things that you can actually do, but you're pretty much limiting yourself to just the physical. And I really hope this video doesn't get blanked out when I post it, like, for real. Cause like, that's the thing, like, I'll be getting into a deep message, and then next thing you know, the video will get deleted, or something will happen that just avoids it from being posted. And like, this is what the agents will do, because they have access to your phone. A lot of people don't realize is that all the technology they pretty much have access to, but they already have access to your mind, so they pretty much don't even have to tap into your phone to get you. Like, it's crazy. Like, there's certain things that these people can do, but they don't even have to do it, because pretty much you're asleep. So they don't even have to get to the level of, tapping into your technology and watching you through your phone and stuff. And, I'm not saying like, they do this all the time. They only do it for the real high ones, those who are really vibing high. But pretty much what I wanted to say in this video, my message in this video, is to really just be aware of your imagination and how it could be shifted into a different, a reality, basically, like within you. They'll try to create these boxes within you and put you into a box. But you gotta basically be more open with your imagination and use it for the right purpose. Use it for spirit, use it for love. And what's really gonna help you tune into your imagination as well is pretty much getting out into nature and tapping into these the energies in nature, because the soul is really turning up right now, at least where I live. And tapping into the grass, tapping into the trees, all of this energy is pretty much gonna allow you to strengthen your visualization when you practice using your solar panels, your spiritual solar panels. Is pretty much going to strengthen your visualization so that your imagination can improve, and then and so on, your third eye. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna end it at that. My full love. Let's keep turning up. Let's do what we got to do.